Panachaya, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai ki Jai. Jai Ram Vishnupada. Gangamai Yamunamai. Gangamai Yamunamai ki Jai. Samati Prabhupada Vasudeva ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakti ki Jai. Nitai Govrita. All glory to the Son of the God. Glory to the Son of the God. Glory to the Son of the God. All glory to Sister God and Goranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we'll take our discussion this afternoon from this book. All of you familiar with this book, Bhagavad Gita as it is? Everybody? Okay. Anyone who is not familiar with this book here? So Bhagavad Gita chapter 11, text 32. Title of this chapter is The Universal Form. We utilize books in our discussions in Krishna consciousness because books are the basis. Books are reference points. If you go to the law court, say you are an attorney, a lawyer, you have to defend your clients, but you have to convince the judge based on references from past legal procedures or from the Constitution or from the criminal codes. So we also believe in scripture. And our authority is the scriptures. We have the scriptures, we have the sadhus, and we have our living gurus. So we say something that should be based on authority. Sometimes people say something, they give a nice story. I remember I was in Punjab and I saw this nice story on the web. So I was so much intrigued by the story. Very beautiful pastimes of Lord Krishna. The Lord Krishna, Balaram and some other application. So I was so intrigued and I wanted to know. I was trying to find out from devotees, where is this pastime? Which book? So nobody could tell me. So I traced the author of the article and called him up on the web, on Facebook. Call him up. I said, I like this story. It's pastime. Amazing. Can I have a reference? He said, oh, it's in the Bhagavatam. I said, no. I have 2 sets of Bhagavatams in my room, right here in my apartment. It's not. It's not in the Bhagavatam. Tell me where you got the story. I love the pastimes. Then he told me, he'll get back to me. This is just a prelude to what I'm going to say. So I waited, he never got back to me, so I reminded him. And then, you know what? He said he asked me some questions about, he asked questions like, what does it take to be a member of ISKCON? I didn't know how you got to know that I'm from ISKCON. He was trying to sidetrack my question. So then I asked my friends in Calcutta, there's a small temple in Calcutta. It's in the most upland region of Calcutta. It's called New Alipur. It's a small temple of about 12 resident devotees. And in this temple, there are 5 PhDs. One of them has PhD in mathematics, and the other 4 they have PhD. The president is a scientist, has a PhD in some science field. The vice president is a scientist, has a PhD in some science field. The chief pujari has a PhD. The chief cook has a PhD. You go on playing with India. India, they're far ahead. far ahead of the whole world, even in devotional service. So I asked these devotees, these doctors, say I had this story and I was trying to get information from this guy. And one of them confessed that, Maharaja, I also used to tell this story. I said, you are a doctor, you tell this story. You don't have to stop. Sometimes we just hear something and we repeat it. Parrots are also very good in repetition. Parrots. And sometimes we act like parrotologists. Parrotologists are people who repeat some stuff and you ask them for explication, you ask them for explanation, they cannot give explanation. You ask them for reference, they cannot give any reference. So we have the Bhagavad Gita. Our talk today is based on a reference work of Lord Krishna, a discussion with Arjuna, and it's going to be on time. Krishna said in this Bhagavad Gita text 32 of chapter 11 about time, the time that we use every day. Krishna discussed it. Krishna is very good at discussing contemporary issues and providing solutions to those contemporary issues. Most of us are interested in leelas, which is good. But you don't meet people on the streets in Berlin and start telling them about, Krishna's dancing with the gopis. They have problems and they want you to provide solutions to their problems. Krishna has this expertise of addressing problems. And Prabhupada is also very good in using the scriptures to address contemporary issues. I'm not saying that discussing the Leelas is not good enough. It's very purifying. But for new people, the Leelas will become like, especially the Rasika Baba Leelas. And so today we're going to talk about something really contemporary, very practical. Something you can see, you can feel, and you can experience. It's about time. It's about time. That's why I choose this text. So text 32 reads, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Kalusmi, Loka Chayakri Pravido, Loka Samadatum Iha Pravitaha, Ete Pitram Nababisham Tisave, Ye Vastita Patyanikeshu Yuddhaha. So, repeat after me, word for word translation. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
The personality of God had said.
The personality of God had said.
Kalaha.
Kalaha.
Time.
Time.
Asmi.
Asmi.
I am.
I am.
Loka.
Loka.
Of the worlds.
Of the worlds.
Jayakrit.
Jayakrit.
The destroyer.
The destroyer.
Pravidaha.
Pravidaha.
Great. Lokam.
Lokam.
All people.
All people.
Samadatu.
Samadatu.
In destroying.
In destroying.
Iha.
Iha.
In this world.
In this world.
Pravitaha.
Pravitaha.
Engaged.
Engaged.
Shrite.
Vidite.
Without.
Without.
Except for.
Except for.
Happy.
Happy.
Even.
Even.
From. You.
You.
Na. Never.
Never.
Abhishanti.
Varishanti.
Will be.
Will be.
Salve.
Salve.
All.
All.
Ye.
Ye.
Who.
Who.
Awastitaha.
Vasudeva.
Situated.
Situated.
Prati Amiku. Prati Amikeshu.
Bhakti Anikeshu.
On the opposite sides.
On the opposite sides.
Yodaha.
Yodaha.
Disorder.
Sword.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of God has said, Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Please kindly respond very quick. The Supreme Personality of God had said,
The Supreme Personality of God has said,
Time I am,
Time I am,
the great destroyer of the worlds,
the great destroyer of the worlds,
and I've come here to destroy all people,
and I have come here to destroy all people,
with the exception of you, the Pandavas.
with the exception of you and the Pandavas.
All the soldiers here on both sides will be slain.
All the soldiers here on both sides will be slain.
So please listen with rapt attention, the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Although Arjuna knew that Krishna was his friend and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was puzzled by the various forms exhibited by Krishna. Therefore, he asked further about the actual mission of this devastating force. It is written in the Vedas that the Supreme Truth destroys everything, even the Brahmanas. Stated in the Katha Upanishad 1:225, Yasa Brahma Chatriyancha Ube Bhavata Udanaha Mrityu Yasya Upase Janam Katita Vedayata Saha. Eventually, all the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and everyone else are devoured like a meal by the Supreme. This form of the Supreme Lord is all devouring giant. And here Krishna presents himself in that form of all devouring time, except for a few Pandavas. Everyone who was present on that battlefield will be devoured by him. Arjuna was not in favor of the fight, and he thought it was better not to fight. Then there will be no frustration. In reply, the Lord is saying that even if he did not fight, every one of them would be destroyed. For that was his plan. If Arjuna stopped fighting, they will die in another way. Death could not be checked, even if he did not fight. In fact, they were already dead. Time is destruction, and all manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. That is the law of nature. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda Sahodata, Godadhaya Paspavanto, Chita Chandu, Tamon. Vanchakalpatari Vacha, Kripasam, Vaishnava Bhuvamon. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishaya Bhutale, Mati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Itna. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prasharine Namaste Swami Pasasya Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakti. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So welcome everyone to this Saturday gathering. Here in the Eastern Temple in Berlin. It takes a lot of emotional courage to come to a place of worship, a place where Krishna's teachings are discussed on a Saturday in the afternoon in the West. It means that you love Krishna. Because there are so many activities going on the weekend. And you could choose to go to those activities, social events, rejuvenating social events. But you choose to come for this garden, spiritual garden. So it means you have a lot of, your priorities is based on spiritual culturation. So Thank you. Keep up with this spirit. So we have choices to make in the material world. We have things on our table. We can choose to be spiritual or not. It's not something that is an imposition on us. But we choose to be spiritual, or we're trying to be devotionally cultured, and for that is for the purpose of becoming free from the effects of time, the dualities of time. We are born in this world, and with time, we undergo some changes. Change constant. The variant is the object of change. We will always be in fact, people are talking so much about change in politics, in economics, administration, but the real initiator of the change model is Krishna. Oh yeah. The real initiator of change model is Krishna. The original initiator of change model is Krishna. And Krishna demonstrated how change is very individualistic, collective, and universal. And on individual level, Krishna talks about how we are undergoing changes. But each change that we undergo, even on individual level, is because of the effect of time. Krishna mentions in the Gita, Dehi nosmi yata dehe kumara yavanam jara tata dehantara prapti dira tatanamuyat. That we are undergoing change. From birth, from childhood, we are developing, we are changing. From childhood to boyhood to adult, old age, and then eventually we change the body. But what is the undermining principle of this change? That initiated by nature. The change initiated by nature. We can say no to that change. People resist change a lot in the industries. If you develop a change initiative in your industry, there are so many people who are going to resist that change. It may be a very positive, positive results, but no. We are prone to resistance to change. The only thing that we are not able to resist is this, this natural initiative of this change process. Who can resist old age? No, I don't want old age. No way. Who can say I want to be just 5 years old for the rest of my life? No. This it just shows how time is so powerful. And therefore, if we understand the dynamics of the time factor, we don't try to fight with the time. We don't try to fight with the change initiative that is propagated or promoted by material nature. Because material nature, whose nature? Krishna's nature. And therefore all of this universal setting, this law that operational in the universe that are imparting on us are due to the fact that they are designed by the supreme scientist, Krishna. Each time you board an airplane, all these big aircrafts, it's so big and you can't imagine. What? This is floating in the air for hours and hours? And people are loaded, so much luggage is there. It's floating in the air. Who made the scientists who developed that technology? But although the plane is floating in the air, it is impacted by time. The plane cannot be in the air, cannot be floating in the air for life. It will come down. it will come down. Whatever that goes up must come down. This is time. And therefore, Krishna says here that he is time who has come to destroy everyone. And we are being destroyed every day we wake up. We are drawing close to death. We've been destroyed every day. We are happy about it. We feel very happy when we wake up every day. Oh, we thank God. This is another bright day. It's like you have a marine car outside your doorpost and they're waiting for you to go in and be taken to prison. And you're happy to just, happily jump into the marine car and be taken to prison. This is what daylight means. We are drawing close to death. And yet people in general, they are imperceptible about this glaring reality. That we are getting old. We are going to leave this body at some point in time. There is no preparation for it. So it is only the devotees who have this amazing opportunity to understand things from the practical perspective and adapt to this change. When you initiate a change, a devotional change in your life, you are a great adapter to change. You are preparing for you are preparing for death. You're not living the life that everyone else is just happily engaging. You're preparing for the final examination. This is sometimes people go to college and their parents have sent them to college so that they can acquire a degree to get a white-collar job. And in most cases, people go to college, there are so much of distractions on college campus. So some of the students who are not very disciplined, they get distracted. This is what it takes to be a human being. We are on college campus. So many distractions. We beg the Lord in the heart. When we were in the womb, at some point in time, we were suffering so much. And the Lord also appeared to us to appease us because of our suffering. And we promised the Lord, my Lord, get me out from this mess. I will always worship you. You know what? This happened to me a lot. I don't know what happened in other individuals. When I get some health problems, say I'm on medication, and I get some relief a little bit, I forget about the medication. It's so difficult to follow up with, say 6 weeks of medication, taking some tablets and all this. As soon as I got some relief, I just say, and this is what happens with most people. We beg the Lord, we will worship you. When we come into the material world, when we're born, we've started being treated like queens and kings. Queens, princes and princesses. And we feel so happy. We think, wow, see how great I am. I'm being worshipped here. Again, this is due to the effect of time. The effect of time is so powerful. It makes us forget even the most essential things, even our promises. I was just speaking briefly with Chandra in the car. I was asking something about how I manage, devotional activities and my academic research and all this stuff. So I gave him two strategies. Two strategies. One is effective time management, and the other is self-regulation. And in ISKCON, I don't mean to be offensive to authorities of ISKCON, but this is hermeneutics, my lived experience. We are very good in violating this principle of self-regulation. We eat at the inappropriate time. In some cases, we eat dead in the night. And we expect to go to work the next day, wake up early in the morning to chant your rounds and go to work the next day. How? How does that work? So, in some cases, I think we're not very practical. Because if we don't effectively manage our 24 hours, we are looking for depression. You know how? Because say you have a list, a to-do list. Just do this and see. Have your to-do list. When you wake up, write down the things you need to do for the day. And at the end of the day, figure out whether you are able to accomplish that. In most cases, no. Are you happy about that? No. So here you're going to bed feeling unhappy. Let's get the logic. Here you're going to bed feeling unhappy. So if this happens on a regular basis, you are moving towards depression. That is how people develop depression. Depression doesn't come one day, like an accident. Boom, depression. No. In most cases, little things develop. You know, you surprise them, you have some negative experience, you feel unhappy, unemotionally charged, and you just feel it's normal. It's normal to be unhappy. And there's little drops of water of unhappiness, they develop into a full cup of water. And it starts spilling down. That's how people get depression in some cases. If not based on hormonal, variations. So let's get the point clear that if we don't utilize our time properly, we cannot be happy. And we can see we do our to-do list, we make our to-do list, we don't get the things done because of our lackadaisical approach to our objective criteria. We are not going to be happy when we go into bed. If you finish the objective that you set for yourself, at the end of the day, you are happily. You sound asleep. You can wake up very early in the morning strong. You go to bed feeling depressed. You're not going to wake up feel strong and happy. So do we want to manage our time effectively? Yes, we want to. I like telling this story. I have a friend in America. So I went to Michigan. And this guy, this devotee, he did his MBBS in India. So he got some special scholarship to do his specialization, MD in America. So he was doing that in Michigan State. So he met me in Detroit. He got attracted to me, so he was traveling with me to different programs. And we are in a car, someone was driving. And he turned to me one day, and said, Maharaj, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah, my friend, feel free to ask me any question. He said, we medical doctors, we don't have the time to chant these rooms. I said, really? So I asked him whether he thought he was the first medical doctor in ISKCON. Because, and in fact, if someone uses their career or their job or their school as an excuse to abuse time, you are just killing yourself. You are cheating yourself. So, without wasting time, I asked this guy who became my friend, now, okay, let's analyze how he used the 24 hours. So we started with analysis, asking how many hours does he use it working in the hospital, in Yeah, in the hospital, how many hours, and how many hours does he use in his private studies? Because you're doing MD, it involves a lot of rigorous studies and research. Some days you have to work in the hospital 24/7. This is the most difficult aspect of medical studies. Those final years of specialization, you don't have any rest. So I get it. But to claim that because of your job, because of your studies, you don't have the time to chant 16 rounds. 16 rounds. I repeat this anywhere I go. 16 rounds just makes us to be humans. How? Then we can discern between what is good and what is bad, what is not to be done and what is to be done. If we're not even chanting the prescribed, the minimum, 16 rounds is minimum. If you're not chanting even the minimum, it is very difficult to resist temptations. Very difficult. We could easily be fried because you go out in the office, people poke you all the time. You walk in the office, you see people poke you all the time. They agitate you all the time. Even in the families. Even your own kids will agitate you, will poke you, will do something messy. You overreact, then they make a joke of you. And so the chanting is something that helps us. Besides the fact that the chanting helps us to prepare for exhilaration in the devotional life or extrication from the shackles of repeated birth and death, there are so many science-based evidences of the positive side. So if someone is denying themselves with the good lame excuse that because they're too busy, they don't have the time to chant 16 rounds, I feel sorry for that person. And like I mentioned during the Bhagavatam class, I personally have vested interest in meeting such people. So I request the temple president here, if you have people who say they don't have the time to chant 16 rounds because of their studies, because they are busy with work, or because they're busy with family, please you direct them to me to have some time to discuss this. I love meeting with such people because we will, I tend to exercise my skills in time management to, interview them, how they use their time. So the point here is that Krishna is making a categorical statement. This is not something latent. It is a categorical statement. It's overt. There are two forms of ideologies. There is the overt ideology, an open statement, and that is the covert ideology. Something that is not spoken, but, it is there. It's not a written code, but, this is required for your growth. But this is an overt code. It's open declaration that if we don't, what it implies here is that if we don't manage our time effectively, we will be ruined. Our lives will be ruined. Destruction means ruination. And therefore, it is important. So I asked this guy, this medical doctor, we were analyzing how he uses 24 hours. We've not even gotten half the way. He realized where we are going. And then at some point in time, he confessed. He almost like crying. He said, Maharaja, I'm sorry, I didn't use my time properly. He said that. He told me we are good friends. In fact, he wanted me to come to use his home. He's finished his studies. He's been working for years as a pediatrician. So I remember the other time I met him in his temple. I visited the temple where he worships. And he told me he wants me to come to stay and use his home as my base in the U.S. I said, not a problem. I can use this. But is your wife chanting 16 rounds? She's going to cook for me. Your wife. Is she chanting 16 rounds? I said, I don't eat people's food who don't chant 16 rounds. Why? Because it's so dangerous. The mentality of the cook goes into the food. Those who eat biscuits and bread outside, all in the name of vegetarianism, or you go to the booger and you buy all this rice and beans and you eat, you enjoy it. You're eating sin. And that is lack of self-regulation. Because Lord Krishna said, our eating, our sleeping, even our recreation has to be regulated. Everything we do has to be regulated. If we are following that strategy, we'll start producing Paramahamsas in our movement. Our children will become Paramahamsas. Oh yeah? But right now, ISKCON has been established for how many years now? How many years? From 1966 to today. How many years?
59.
We have not produced one scientist in our movement. One we have not produced. All the scientists are foreigners. They're outsiders. We are all outsiders. I was not born in this movement. This is the harsh truth. Why? We lack self-regulation. If we follow self-regulation, it's very tough. If we follow effective time management, we will be great accomplishments done. Then the chances are that we can improve. And therefore, if we understand that on individual level, we need to manage our time properly. In fact, Chanakya Pandit, this a great philosopher, who, what do you call it? He studied also economics. So he mentioned that a time wasted cannot be, even 1 minute wasted cannot be bought over with thousands of dollars. You waste 1 minute, you waste 1 second of your life, you cannot get it back. No matter how rich you are. And you see, all of these people who are achievers, they don't waste time dilly-dallying with anybody. You go to the hospitals, the doctors, they deal with so many patients. They finish with this person, go to the next one, go to this. They don't waste time dilly-dallying with anybody. They don't read Bhagavad Gita, but they are very effective in time management. We read Bhagavad Gita, we are abusing time. And we complain we don't have the time to chant. How is that? So, let's understand that time is destructive. The time also builds people up. If we respect time, we honor time as Krishna's energy. Just like we don't throw away prasadam unnecessarily. We cook what we can eat. We don't cook surplus and then we start throwing them away. If even we have surplus, we don't throw them away. We go to give the prasad to the homeless. That is proper prasadam management. Proper management of Krishna's energies. Just like we're trying to properly manage Krishna's energies in so many ways, we have to see how we are effectively managing our 24 hours. This is how you can cope with whatever situation you find yourself. Even you in America, people, I don't know what is obtainable in Germany here, but in America, before the second Trump era, the current Trump era, People were doing like 3 jobs. Some people were doing 3 jobs because they want to accumulate so much money here and there. Of course, these days, even the one job, you get sacked from your job. This is the Trump effect. But the point is that people do so much of work. How is that? Because of effectively managing their 24 hours. They don't waste their time. They use their time to make money. Just like people use their time to make money in America, we should use our time to become Krishna conscious. Therefore, instead of wasting so much of time talking on the phone on frivolous matters, matters that don't have to do with your job, matters that don't have to do with your family, matters that don't have to do with your Christian consciousness, people waste so much time killing. They say killing time. But no one kills time. Time kills us. So, the important factor here is that time is real, and everybody has 24 hours. The great achievers, they have 24 hours. You know what? You see, if time management is not an issue, then we will not discuss it. Because see, I'm sorry, I'm a management scientist. And we don't discuss issues that are not a problem. I don't like just coming to give class and talking Rasika Baba on when people have to come to the temple. Because most people, they will not even understand Rasika Baba philosophy. So, a management scientist would like to address problems. So Krishna is addressing the problem here. Whether we like it or not, Krishna is the best of management scientists. He is addressing a problem here in terms of time. That he is a destroyer of time. He has come to destroy everyone. Death is also time. And so we either choose to manage our time effectively for our spiritual growth. And sometimes people say, well, you know, I'm very serious with my Krishna consciousness. And you know what? Krishna said, I mean, in the Bhagavatam is mentioned, what are the root of the tree? What are the root of the tree? The whole tree flourishes. And similarly, if you worship Krishna, dedicate your life to Krishna, your whole family flourishes. Now, this is a very good philosophy. But the backdrop is that we sometimes use this philosophy as a facade to abuse our families, to abuse our spouses, to abuse our children. When we don't give quality time to our children, when we don't give quality time to our families, to our spouses, there is an abuse. And in America, you could be sued for millions of dollars. For here, if there's a case of an abuse, your spouse can sue you. For here. So, we should not use Krishna as a facade in abusing our spouses. By mismanaging time. Okay, I'm a pujari. I just focus on pujari service. If you don't need a spouse, why keep one in your house as a camouflage? You put someone in your house as your spouse, you have to give quality time to them. You have to give quality time to your children. Why? Because even your family is part and parcel of Krishna. Because Krishna said, Mama evan so, Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. So if we're neglecting someone, we don't give people quality time, that constitutes an abuse. And you think when you abuse people, Krishna, they are all parts and parcels of Krishna. Krishna will be very happy with us because we abuse people? No. Nope. And so let's rephrase, let's reframe, let's readjust our ways of dealing with people, beginning with the family. Because in most cases, because we lack effective time management, we tend to neglect our duties. And we use Krishna as a facade. We use services as a facade. I also do services. I travel around as a Swami. I mean, someone was asking me, so how you deal with all of this stuff? The same two strategies I told you. Effective time management and self-regulation. So we should be conscientious, especially in this day and time where digital culture is reigning supreme. We abuse time like anything. Some people, I know people who lost their jobs because of the smartphone technology, the smartphone culture, and the internet. I know people who failed out from college because of the smartphone culture and the internet. I know people who have gone to prison because of the smartphone and internet culture. It doesn't mean that the smartphone is meant for destruction. The smartphone is meant to help us to facilitate our social growth and even technological and spiritual growth. For instance, the Vedas, the Vedic religion, the Veda basis on your smartphones, you can use that for growth. You can read that, even on a bus or on an airplane. But the same smartphone, I remember one time in the US, I don't remember the exact state, but one judge, female judge, she was in a court presiding over a case, and she was browsing on her phone. And then in America, everywhere, the public houses, they are all wired with cameras. So someone spotted that on the camera. That's how she lost her job. And so this is how people, these are the consequences of abusing. So we have all of these technological cultures, but we should not use it to destroy ourselves. We should engage these infrastructures, these gadgets, favorably in our devotional service. Otherwise, the same gadgets can be the cause of our downfall. I've also seen families that were ruptured because of abuse of time. The man is not there for the family, or the woman is not there for the children and the husband. And at some point in time, the spouse gets fed up. The purpose of this marriage is supposed to be, mutual coexistence. There's no mutuality here. I'm living. I've seen families disrupted based on this abuse of time, not using the time effectively. So time can be used for spiritual development, social development, economic development, whatever. But if we don't understand that these same positive effects could cause destruction, then we are heading for a Waterloo. So this philosophy is right there in your books. I'm not talking about abstract science. It's right there in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna said, he is time, the destroyer of everyone. And this is what it means to be the destroyer of everyone. Time is, is all pervasive. You can feel time anywhere, everywhere. Whether it's in the bed of the sea, the time element is there. Whether it's in air, the time element. Whether it's in space, on this earth. So we should think about how to utilize our time more effectively in creating a positive devotional change in our lives to help with the devotional development of our temples. And we should also try to see how we are becoming self-regulated. We should eat at the appropriate time. Lord Krishna says in that the eating should be regulated. Recreation should be regulated. Sleeping should be regulated. In fact, one of the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada mentions that we should eat, fill the stomach, half full the stomach with food, with water. And then the remaining 1/4 air. If you eat like that, I bet you'll be agile. Going to work. If you feel the whole if you eat to the brim, someone was making an argument. I don't know whether it was in Slovenia. Someone was making an argument that our devotees, they told us, that senior devotees, they told us in the beginning, eat until you're full. We are not buffaloes. You know what buffaloes do? Buffaloes, the young buffalo is very fragile. Young buffalo eats. I mean, like what some of our senior people preach that, eat, in the beginning, eat until it gets, you get choked up. In that way, you can become purified very quickly. So this is a buffalo philosophy, because the buffalo eats, the young buffalo eats, and he has no self-regulation. Buffalo does not eat and say, this is half the stomach, okay, 1/4 I'll leave for air, and the other side for water. He fills up everywhere, and even beyond. And then a young buffalo, the stomach bursts open, and it dies. Yeah, this is buffalo. So we should not have this type of buffalo philosophy of overeating. Overeating, most of the diseases in America are due to overeating. So we overeat, we will not be agile. We will just go to sleep and we'll waste our whole day. So, being careful about how we eat according to the prescriptions of the acharyas. That is self-regulation. Even sex has to be self-regulated. Incidentally, initially I had this bogus, unsubstantiated idea that, when women give birth, that they don't child. And I was comfortable with that. So one of my disciples, she gave birth. So I was speaking with the sister, then I just had my misconception that, okay, women, when they give birth, they can chant, So I was speaking to her younger sister. Now, your sister has given birth, so yes, I understand that she will not be able to chant now. And the younger one, she's a lawyer. So she asked me, Maharaja, who told you that? I said, this is what I think. Because, they carry a baby for 9 months and they've delivered. How are they going to be chanting for those early couple of days? And I was surprised. She told me, no. She has been chanting, she chanted 60 rounds even the day she delivered. I was shocked. So this is the problem with assumption. We assume. We don't have scientific data to back up our belief system. So I was thinking like that, but then I was corrected. My negative idea was corrected by one of my young disciples. So we have to see how, even in our sex life, we are not having. So then, this same lady that I was mentioning, how she was chanting even half of the day she delivered, and their child is, Parker, Parker, so the husband, she wanted another child. So, but then they had to go through all of this rigorous system of chanting 50 rounds, both husband and wife, from 12 o'clock, they wake up to chant before 5 o'clock, before mating, 50 rounds. And I remember the husband, the eldest, and he was not a devotee. The girl made